4 o'clock. Your hero and your host, Bruno Reagan, the afternoon stretch. Ray Dosky, coming to you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studios. Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm well, man. I'm glad my hero's in studio today. Yeah,
that's the best. Everyone's like, "How'd the show go?" When I say everyone, I'm like, my two bosses, my co-host, my parents. They're like, "How'd the first show go?" And I'm just like, "Good." And they're like, because they all give me that look because they know how I am. They know how I am.
They do know how you are.
Because I say everything's good.
Yeah, you do. You always say that everything is good. I can't argue with that. I can't disagree with you that.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a call from the Zach Williams today, though. Especially,
I told him I'm taking his call.
Yeah,
I already told him. I said, "Don't call." I told him, "Stay on vacation. We're good. We're more than good. We're great."
He's gonna have something to say about this Baker stuff, though. So maybe we should. Well, dude, Zach would be so. He wouldn't admit it. He would be so mad if we didn't take his call. You and me just that would be a true hijacking of the show. If he calls in, we'll take it. Speaking of calling, if you want to call in, we got a bunch of news to break today, all right? We all know biggest story, Baker Mayfield. You want to call in, talk, 615-844-5600. Speak of the devil, let's just get this devil out of the way. Jeff in the borough. Jeff, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm the devil. I'm the most hated caller to the station. I got everybody hates me, ain't no doubt about it.
Not to us.
Well, not y'all, but everybody else. I just want to say, is Zach on vacation? I just want to ask that. I mean,
yeah, Zach's on vacation right now. I think he's in Florida, right, Ray?
Yeah, he's drinking a Mai Tai or something.
Mai Tai margarita. I didn't.
Yeah.
But what it was the other day, somebody called in the morning show, and one of the morning hosts talking about working so many days in a row. So I called up this morning and told him. I said, don't give me that. I don't know if y'all know that song, How Young Y'all Are. Have you heard that song by Alabama, 40-hour week for a living? You know what I'm talking about? I think y'all probably.
No, I don't know. When it comes to media, I'm the worst person to ask stuff. TV, songs, music, all of it. I'm the worst.
This is that country. Let me tell you how it goes.
I hate country.
I'll just say the word. There are people in this country who work hard every day, not for fame or fortune do they strive, but the fruits of their labor are worth more than their pay. And it's time a few of them were recognized. So they go to these different people. And then so at the end of it, the one guy in Alabama, I'll get a lead singer, he goes, "This is for the one who drives the big rig up and down the road, for the one in the warehouse bringing in the load, for the waitress, the mechanic, the policeman on patrol, for everyone who works behind the scenes with a spirit you can't replace with no machine." And then he goes, "Hello, America." But what it basically says is the fireman, the mail, that they work a 40-hour week for a living just to send it on down the line. So one of the guys explained about how many days he had to work in a row. And I told him, I said, if you're my boss, listen, if you mention vacation to me, I'd say I never heard of it. I never heard of no vacation. You work so many days, y'all's eyes would pop. I didn't tell them that, but they work so many days, their eyes would pop out. And one of them popped off and said, "Well, vacations are healthy." I guess they are. I guess if you can get one, I guess they're healthy.
Yeah, vacations are healthy. I'm always on vacation.
Jeff, when was the last time you took a vacation?
Probably the last full-time job I had in the media was probably close to 20 years ago, and I took vacation then.
You're due for one.
Since then, I've been kind of freelance contributing for several papers since then. But I don't get in this vacation. But let me tell you something. And the local paper up here, they're not publishing Saturdays anymore. I know Tennessee is not print wise. Well, the local paper in Murfreesboro is not printing on the major holidays like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Christmas Day, New Year's Day. The reason why they say it is because they want their families, their employees, to be with their families. So this year, Christmas falls on the weekend. If y'all know this, Saturday is Christmas Eve, Sunday is Christmas Day. So I know what they're going to do about that. I guess we won't get no Sunday paper this year, or Saturday won't get no paper on the weekend. So like I say, I guess vacations are good, I guess, but I get tired of people saying they want to be with their kiddos and their wifey and kiddos. Go to work. That's what's wrong with America now. People don't.
Jeff, I appreciate the call, man. I think we let you get the majority of your argument out. Yeah, we are in the Great Resignation. That's what they call it. You know that, Ray?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did hear about that. By the way, who still gets the Sunday paper? Is that still a thing?
You're telling me. Jeff, get on Twitter like the rest of America. That's our newspapers now.
Like I used to read the paper growing up, but since the creation of the internet and all this other stuff in terms of being able to get information when you want, it kind of just killed the whole social, the Sunday paper, and now you just get online to get your Sunday paper.
You know what? You want to know? I'll tell you what. The worst part about paper is you're not going to see the biggest story of today, Baker Mayfield stuff, being reported on until tomorrow. That's the beauty of all other forms of media. Twitter, radio. We don't have to write anything. You get our instant thoughts now. So let's jump right into it, because I'm sure the biggest story that everybody's talking about, it finally happened. What draft were they in? 2018?
Yes, they were.
2018. My draft. 2018. 2 of the top 3 picks now reside in the same position room of the Carolina Panthers football team. Sam Darnold, the 3rd pick of the first round, and Baker Mayfield traded for a conditional 5th round pick. I believe it could go up to a 4th based on playing time. That's the condition. But I'm not too read on the exact details. I just know they got Baker for a lot cheaper than you would think. Now, the interesting part about this entire trade is how every single party in this trade, all 3 being the Browns, the Panthers, and Baker, had to sacrifice to make it happen. It was basically a show of no leverage. No, let's all agree we all have no leverage, and equally combine our forces to try and make this trade happen. So the Browns paid $10.5 million of Baker's needed salary, the salary they're going to owe him. The Panthers pay 4.8, got off a little better than the Browns,
right?
But that conditions for how cheap they got him with the pick. And then Baker himself takes a $3.5 million pay cut this year. So if Baker just stayed on the Browns, he would have technically made more money, right? I don't know if you also saw beforehand, but there were some literally this morning, people were talking about the Lions and the Bucks being new players in this trade talks. Did you see this, Ray?
I did see that.
You did see that. And a lot of people were like, oh, he should go behind Tom Brady for a year. He should go behind Tom Brady for a year. No! Why? This is Baker's chance to prove that he is. I find it hard to believe that you can find 31 better quarterbacks in the National Football League than Baker Mayfield.
31?
31.
Mr.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
He was feeling dangerous. And that was a great job using the audio, Ray. He was feeling dangerous. The Panthers should feel dangerous. The Panthers were a team, hey, a lot of people forget. Last season, a lot of people were riding the high. They were 3-0, I think. 3-0 going into the Broncos meeting, who was also 3-0. And then both teams collapsed after that game. But this is a team that is now an instant playoff contender. I think Sam Darnold has proven.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
When I say contender, I mean contender to get into the playoff. Let me elaborate, Ray. Because I could tell by your reaction and maybe some other people's reaction, I don't think they're going to contend in the playoff. Okay. I think there's a chance that they sneak into the playoff, though. I don't think the NFC is nearly as deep as the AFC.
I agree with that. That's 100% accurate.
And Carolina has some decent pieces. I mean, nothing else needs to be said about Christian McCaffrey unless if he can stay healthy, which, one of these years, his hamstring has to stay on the bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has to eventually happen. When he's an instant. He's worth 2 people on the field. That's how valuable he is. DJ Moore. A lot of people now, DJ Moore. That's the big conversation. Will he finally get over 4 touchdowns in a year? Can he do it? I don't know.
Can we talk about how the Carolina Panthers assembled this quarterback room? They've traded
by desperation.
So they've traded away the 2nd, a 3rd, 2 4ths, a 5th, and a 6th to go and get Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Matt Corral.
And also, P.J. Walker's in that room, the odd man out. XFL legend.
what's crazy to me, and I saw this crazy stat. Did you know that the Browns, they traded up for let's see, let me go back to this stat real quick, which was wild to me.
Why a wild Browns personnel move?
No.
Color me
okay,
shocked.
so hear me out. The Panthers traded into the third round of the 2022 NFL draft to select Matt Corral on Friday. What was it, this past year in Vegas?
Yeah, 2 months
and
ago.
with that, Carolina picked Corral at the 94th overall selection that they got from the Patriots in exchange for 137. They got Baker for what?
A conditional 5th round.
A 5th
pick.
round. So they paid more for Matt Corral than Baker Mayfield?
Wow. Now, I want to mention this quick. I'm kind of going all over the place, but there's a lot to talk about.
We're going to recenter it here. We're going to bring it back.
Well, we're really not even recentering it because if the Browns and the Panthers, if the Panthers got Baker Mayfield for so cheap, how serious was Seattle in this talk? The Seattle Seahawks. It couldn't have been serious at all. This seems like nothing.
I've heard both sides. I've heard Jasani Anderson saying that she was disputing some reports that Seattle was never ever in the running to go after Baker Mayfield.
That's the
one.
But
she contested a lot of those. She's like, no, they were interested.
Well, interest is a funny word. Yeah. Did they call and ask, hey, what would it take to get Baker? That's not interest. They're just everyone. I guarantee you, like 29 teams did that.
Or the GMs are like in the bathroom stall, like, just kind of hanging out, like, hey, so what's up with Baker? Like,
what would it take? What's the price tag? That's what they're asking. It's not doesn't mean they're interested.
Right.
We knew the Panthers were interested.
Right.
Because guess what? This is a move. Desperate times call for desperate measures. This is the ramblings of a dead man walking, some would say. Among coaches on the hot seat, Matt Rule is consistently, former Baylor head coach, had a lot of success, made the jump to the NFL. Carolina is his first NFL team leading. He's probably the guy who's most on the hot seat.
So is this deal 100% about Matt Rule trying to save Matt Rule's job?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because, yes,
Baker is he's cheaper than Darnold, but, Darnold's going to make $18 million to back up Baker this year.
Yes.
That's wild. And we all know how much Zach loves Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold is not starting.
Zach, you really
I want to get that out of the way right now.
If Zach's listening, you need to call in the show and talk about your boy Zach Darnold and see how Sam Darnold, how badly he got done in this whole transaction and how Carolina's doing him wrong. We need to hear it.
Sam Darnold will not start. I don't think he'll start for any team. I think this is the end of Sam Darnold. It would have been the end for Matt Rule if he imagine Matt Rule's world. They had to get this Baker deal done. I can't believe I didn't emphasize this more, that Baker would be a Carolina Panther. It was either him or Jimmy G, right? They have to go someone else. They know they know Sam Darnold and his limitations. Sam Darnold was 4-7 in starts last season. He threw for 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's not even enough to get you a winning record
at all.
Much less contend for a wild card spot, much less contend for the division, which they still won't win with Baker, probably. We're talking about Tom Brady.
Yes, we are.
We're talking about the Saints offense. Disgusting. They're going to be good. We're talking about the Falcons.
Well, hold on. Don't tell that to Zach, because we know how much he loves Marcus. He thinks that they're going to be on an uptick this year. So,
Falcons finished last in their division.
They will,
by the way. 100% Bruno bets guarantee. If you can bet on the Falcons being last in that division, they will accomplish that. Marcus is going to be even more out of form than he was as a Titan.
It's just crazy to me they don't make that. The Panthers did not try. If Matt Rule's trying to save his job, because look, he's not in the business of trying to develop a quarterback.
Nope.
He wants someone who's already established, right?
Yup.
Why go after a Baker Mayfield who's 29-30, 61.6 completion percentage, an 87 passing rating, career-wise, as opposed to a Jimmy G who's established, who's been to the playoffs numerous times, been to the Super Bowl, 33-14, 67 complete percentage, a 98 passer rating. The guy, there's the opportunity's there for him. Why pass over Jimmy G?
And there's obviously, that's a great question you have, and I want to go back to an interview that they had on, I believe, was the I Am Athlete podcast. And it was Julian Edelman on the show, who was all familiar with Jimmy G. And I believe it was Martellus Bennett. It was one of the Bennett brothers when he was in New England, and he was saying, I could see, because Bennett got a lot of flack for calling Jimmy G a B-word. Well, Julian Edelman doesn't come out and defend Jimmy G. He comes out and says, I can see why Martellus said that. There might be a discourse around the league regarding Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G's getting replaced by some 22, 23-year-old that the reports internal of the 49ers is that he's underwhelming compared to how high they drafted him. But he's still going to start over Jimmy G. So what does that say about Jimmy G? Jimmy G has all these. I think Jimmy G is the luckiest. First of all, luckiest man in the world to be born looking like that.
Oh, yeah.
Luckiest man in the world.
He's a handsome man.
He has the most Super Bowls of any active quarterback in the National Football League. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Garoppolo, who I have on my Dynasty Fantasy team, and I've been trying to get rid of this guy. I'm having the same issues NFL GMs are having. I can sympathize. With the Jimmy G hate. I think Baker Mayfield is above Jimmy G. And Baker Mayfield came out in a tougher. Baker Mayfield's on the Browns. The Browns, people forget 4 years ago that team was a joke for the last 20 years. I mean, Baker Mayfield, granted, the Browns did decent building a team around him, but it was iconic. The jersey with all the quarterback names that went there to die. Their careers went there to die. And Baker Mayfield was the first to elevate them. They went to playoff. And now, the Browns throw him away like trash, and all of a sudden, Baker's nothing. Odell goes have success with the Rams, and everyone's like, oh, Baker must have been the issue in the Browns locker room. This move is going to say everything. I want to go to the phone line, 615-844-5600. Reagan, we got you on. What's up?
What's going on, brother? Hey, I know you have experience playing against Matt Rule's offense. Could that be a big decision in this? Because let's be honest, Baker's much more fitted to that offense than Sam Darnold, who moves about like me.
Hey, that's a good point. Oh, yeah. I played against Matt Rule and that Baylor team the year before they were almost making a playoff run. We played them in the Texas Bowl. We put up about 550 yards of offense. They put up 600, and you 100%. It is spread, Big 12. It's a lot like I believe what Cliff Kingsbury is trying to do with, a Kyler Murray. It's that same exact style of offense, the Big 12. Great question, Reagan. Appreciate you having on. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's just, I think we all know that's my old man. So yeah. I think Baker is a much better fit than a Jimmy G. Jimmy G is running a pro style offense, and his only job, Jimmy G, is just to make sure the offense is in the right position. What does that mean? Make sure the tight ends, the formation's correct. They have a fullback that can do a lot of stuff up in San Francisco. They have a wide receiver that can do a lot of stuff in the backfield. Jimmy G's only job is to basically throw the play action, throw the third and mediums, third and shorts, and call it a day, right? Baker's going to be asked to improvise, move around the pocket. Maybe it's some stuff off the quick, the handoff fakes, and the throws over the middle. It's not going to be so much a brain test for Baker Mayfield. He's going to test the brain of the other defense on the fly. How fast can the defense make a decision when it comes to defending the run versus the pass? That's what Baker Mayfield's going to offer for Carolina. Frankly, also, I think is to be said, at least they got all of training camp. I mean, they traded for Baker. They have a training camp to get ready for the entire football season, right?
Are you surprised it took this long?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. They should have done sooner, right? It should have been done at least by draft, around the draft time.
That's a great point, Ray.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things that definitely could have been done way sooner and maybe been less of a drama. Or maybe Carolina was just like, let's just hold a trade and just let the Browns internally, start to disorganize. We're going to continue talking about this. I mean, this is the biggest story of, I think, maybe the summer in terms of the NFL. 615-844-5600 if you want to call in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
Good afternoon. A little bit sluggish up through Madison right now as they work a minor accident on 65 northbound. They almost made it up to Vietnam Vets. There's just so much traffic volume trying to get up in that area right there, headed towards Vietnam Vets into Goodlettsville. Traffic's picked up even more now on 24. We've had a series of accidents headed out towards Rutherford County. I still see a heavy traffic volume on 24 East at 840. Ripley's has a great summer camp experience for the kids. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Six Man Movers here in Nashville is looking for people to join their growing team. They are currently accepting applications for 5 to 10 more members to fill their roster through their website, sixmanmovers.com. Once there, choose resources, then click on We're Hiring. Fill out the form, and a member of their team will be in touch. Experience is preferred, and you must have a valid driver's license. It pays $15 to $21 an hour, depending on your experience. Come join the Six Man Mover crew and get paid to work out. Other great perks include getting paid weekly for your hours, plus tips, flexible scheduling, and much more. You will love being a part of this dynamic roster with Six Man Movers. To apply, just go to sixmanmovers.com, then click on We're Hiring, or give them a call at 615-830-1313 for more information. Again, that number is 615-830-1313. That's Six Man Movers, more than just a Nashville moving company. We exist to help you change your life. Make your next move a win with Six Man Movers.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
or
Yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
or it may be even subtler, like,
Speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi, so you don't have to work from home. #1 in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Five-state forecast.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. We have an excessive heat warning in effect. This afternoon, sunny and hot with a straight thunderstorm. The high 102, heat index 114. Isolated thunderstorm this evening, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, low 78. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Bruno, Reagan, Ray Dosky.
Looks like you're smoking a cigarette.
The afternoon stretch. I always do this. I'm just on
the
at
other
that
side,
chair
yeah.
usually, so no one ever notices. Afternoon stretch. Where it's a pleasure to have you guys. 615-844-5600 if you want to get into the conversation. We're coming to you live from the Strike and Sperry Family Fun Center studios. We're talking all things Browns, Panthers, Baker Mayfield, NFL, the current landscape. I mean, this really has. Have you ever seen that meme where it's that guy and he's all tired, he's in a suit, and he has all the pins? He has all the pins of like a detective pin board, and there's all the red lines everywhere.
Trying to connect the dots,
He's
yeah.
connecting the dots. That's kind of what this trade is doing right now. It's a butterfly effect. That's the word I'm looking for. There's a butterfly effect. What this says for everything. I mean, Seattle, this kind of proves to me that there's one, either Seattle's going to just take Jimmy G, the literal garbage, he's another man's trash, or one man's trash is another man's treasure. That could be Seattle. Or they're just like, we're already screwed. Just put Drew Lock in there as a scapegoat.
It's a really Drew Lock season in Seattle.
It's Drew Lock season. I mean, Drew Lock is unanimously not in the top 40 active quarterbacks on NFL lists, and he's going to start. That's how you know Seattle's stinking. I think Baker was Seattle's best chance to salvage a season, but it just goes to show that this might be one of the prime examples that tanking is real in the National Football League.
So let me ask you this. How would you grade this trade between the Browns and the...
For the Browns, in any case, the Baker Mayfield situation is a fat F.
For the Browns?
For the Browns.
Okay.
They could have... them having to even negotiate on this kind, I mean, regarding the pick they got, a fifth-round pick that could be a fourth, depending on the conditions.
Okay.
Having to pay $10.5 million of the salary owed?
What is he owed? Is he owed $15 million this year? I know that he's owed $15 million. I think that's what he's scheduled to make with the Panthers.
I think it was 15 or 16.
And then you've got Sam Darnold, who's probably around roughly a little over $18 million. That's almost $33 million tied up to quarterbacks with a lot of question marks on that team.
For the Browns, this is easily an F. For Carolina, this is an A-. I mean, because this.
Wow, you're an A-.
For Carolina and for Matt Rule, this is 100% a step up from Sam Darnold. And the optimism it brings to Carolina, to the locker room, to the fans. This should be an optimistic thing. What else were they going to do? Just ride with Sam Darnold into the season? Maybe it go. No, what? This is showing that the front office for Carolina and Matt Rule are trying to win right now. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to feel going into. Seahawks fans can't say that.
No.
Shout out to all the Seattle listeners. Your entire organization is just bumming right now.
Do you think we have a Brown fan that interns here, and he speaks so negatively about Baker Mayfield? But do you believe there's other Brown fans, depending on how this quarterback situation with Watson plays out, that they would have wanted Baker Mayfield to play?
I don't think Browns fans. No, I think Browns fans are delusional. I think Browns fans are always like Browns fans are the people that get married, have a beautiful family, 2 kids, they never argue. They're making great money. They're living the American dream, and they're like, I wonder if I could do better though. And they cheat on their husband. That's a Brown fan. They cheat on their wife. That's a Browns fan. They're like, what? They're like, they get their moment in the sun, and then they fly a little too close. That's exactly what's happening. Call me and tell me I'm lying. 615-844-5600. But that's exactly what's happening.
Well, you just speak about optimism, and not only for the Carolina Panthers fans as well as the team itself, but also Baker Mayfield, who gets a chance to more or less reinvent himself. He gets to get a new environment. He gets to reset, if you will.
You're preaching to the choir.
You know?
Does anybody out there know who the Browns play week 1? How about Carolina? Who do they play week 1? Uh-oh. You forgot who daddy is. They play each other week 1.
Yes, they do.
Do you think Jacoby Brissett led Brown? Because whatever, there is a chance Deshaun Watson never plays football again. There's more of a chance of that than him not being suspended. Deshaun Watson I believe, will be suspended for X number of games.
So where does the Browns go from here? Is Jacoby Brissett going to be
the starter? You got to ride. You just got to, you know what? You know where the Browns go? Church. The 3 steps for Browns fans right now. Grab a Bible, go to church, and pray Deshaun Watson is suspended for 4 to 6 games.
Do you believe the team right now, the Browns, the way they're constructed right now, are they able to win right now?
No!
Like, as a team as a full, you don't think they have a solid team outside of with the question marks at quarterback?
Then yes. Okay. Then yes, they do.
The reason why I asked that is that why not try and make a play for Jimmy G for a 1-year rental?
Who, the Browns?
Yeah.
Well, some people would probably say Jacoby Brissett is on Jimmy G's level. What do you got to say to that?
I don't think he is.
Maybe not, but
I don't think he is.
But then is all that worth it so soon? I mean, it might create more because is Jimmy G going to take that offer? Jimmy G probably believes he's a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Now he's demoted to the Browns bench boy. Come off the bench for 3. Who's Jimmy? Jimmy G's like, who do you think I am? Tyler Hero? I got rings. That's what Jimmy G's thinking.
Do you believe that a lot of teams are waiting for what was supposed to happen with Baker Mayfield going to happen with Jimmy G, and that's the 49ers eventually letting him go, cutting him? Because many were hoping that that's what was going to happen in Cleveland. The Pittsburgh Steelers were hoping for that. The Seahawks were probably monitoring that. Chances are that if he was cut and he was a free agent to sign with anyone,
100% there would have been a lot more players. Yeah. But Carolina was willing to make the move. That's why they paid some of the money off. And Baker, that's why he took a pay cut, was because he wanted to be in Carolina.
Let's say if he stayed with the Browns. This trade did not happen. Does he get cut during training camp?
Maybe not. Maybe they're just pay him out.
Pay him out, right? Sit on the bench, right?
Pay him to sit on the bench.
Just much like Deshaun Watson. Just you can come and train whenever, but we don't want you.
I mean, they probably would have let it go to week 1 and then maybe cut him because they would want to see, is he really about not playing? Is he really about just sitting out?
And he would definitely have not lasted on the waiver wire, right? If he got cut on a Monday, that day he'll be picked up.
Yeah, it would have been like...
Depending on who...
You ever seen those Wall Street movies?
Yeah.
That's what it would have been like on the phones.
Yeah.
Just going absolutely crazy, dude.
Yeah, I don't know why not make a move for Jimmy G. For just a 1-year rental. The team is in a win-now mode. They have all the pieces there outside of, the quarterback. Maybe Jacoby Brissett maybe could be a nice fill-in. He had a little magic when he was with the Colts.
I think the Browns have laid their plan out entirely. Jacoby Brissett fills in for 4 to 6 to X number of weeks. Now, Deshaun Watson gets suspended indefinitely or for an entire season. Now you're talking, uh-oh.
Or does the Browns know that he won't be suspended?
They don't know that.
Well, hear me out. Like, if you let's say like they know something, the whole Deshaun Watson proceedings are happening right now. I think it wrapped up on Friday, and I don't know when the decision is supposed to come out. But maybe they got worried about what to expect from the NFL in terms of a suspension. Maybe,
and that's why they gave Baker up.
Yeah, they gave Baker up. Maybe it's going to be a 6 to 8 game suspension. Like, we can ride with Jacoby Brissett for 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll bring Deshaun Watson in, and hopefully, because we're a 17-week season now, that's not even half your season.
I think you've made a great point earlier about 10 minutes ago, and that's when you get to this level, there's a certain, we always talk about developing. Like, Matt Rule isn't going to develop a Sam Darnold. A lot of guys are done developing. They're in the National Football League. How much more can you develop? There are a few guys out there that make some jumps. There's some guys out there that truly develop. Like, Malik Willis isn't going to just, for the Titans, for example, isn't just going to one day wake up and be the Steve McNair heir apparent.
Right.
The development's out there. We just have to see if he can play or not. Baker Mayfield has something to play for, especially week 1, but that's going to ride through all of training camp. Training camp is the most mundane, terrible, horrible experience. Tough on the body, tough on the mind. You don't get to see your family. It's like getting deployed for a month, really. They're not allowed to come. No one's allowed to know anything. You can maybe talk on the phone every now and then, but sometimes that is more bad than good. It's flying too close to the sun, and it wears on guys. And a lot of guys that are vets go through the motions. And a lot of people won't admit that, but that's just the truth of the National Football League. A lot of guys make it to that level and they start going through the motions. Baker Mayfield, we're going to see a motivated Baker Mayfield. Is that all good? I would argue, be careful, because you win football playing with discipline, not playing with emotion.
It just baffles me that the Jets turned a second and a fourth rounder in terms of picks to trade away Sam Darnold. Now he's going to be paid that much. But if you were to rank, now that Baker Mayfield's in the NFC, you just talked about how weak the NFC conference is. Where would you rank him? Where would you rank him? Where would you rank him quarterback-wise?
Baker?
Yeah. You've got, 16 teams? Where would you put him in that little mix? Because, look, we know the top 3 or 4. We know the top 3.
You got Brady, you got Roger.
You got Matt Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got your knowns. But outside of that, where would you put him?
That's a good question. Kyler's over there.
Kyler's definitely top 5.
Top 5. Then Baker might not break the top half, which sucks. I think that's what he's fighting for. I think him and Carson Wentz are fighting. They're both fighting for the top half. He's not better than Dak, at least for me. I know Dak's kind of fallen off a lot of people's radars.
100%.
Jalen Hurts is for some reason getting a lot of love. Baker Mayfield probably isn't.
I don't understand that narrative either.
Yeah.
Like, was it smart for the Eagles to spend all that money to surround Jalen Hurts, who I think there's rumors out there they're going to possibly try to sign him for $38 to $40 million, which I don't know about if he's even worth half that a year.
Hey, I watched Jalen Hurts get benched by Tua Tagovailoa. I've never been riding with Jalen Hurts. And all of a sudden, he's in the National Football League?
And he's ranked higher than Dak. And I think a lot of people are thinking the reason that there's going to be a little drawback or a setback because of Dak is much like with Aaron Rodgers. He lost Amari Cooper, much like how Aaron Rodgers lost Devontae Adams. He doesn't have them. But I'm like, well, they have other pieces. Do you not see what CeeDee Lamb did last year? He's like DeAndre Hopkins 2.0.
Yeah, but then we get into the Zach Williams world where what if CeeDee Lamb was more of a role player? This isn't basketball. CeeDee Lamb, I think, would just increase production.
This is true.
Or maybe he can't rise to that.
So do you think he's like 6th or 7th right now, Baker Mayfield?
No.
Not even in the conference.
No.
No way.
I think you're unraveling my Baker Mayfield love. I think he's a step up enough for it just goes to show how optimistic I am about the Panthers roster. They
had a solid roster last year.
I'm surprised we've gotten this far into the show and we haven't even mentioned good old Robbie Anderson. Zach Williams' favorite player, by the way.
Oh, yes.
I mean, did he?
He's a Carolina Panther, like, fanboy. Like, low-key. That's what I feel like that's what... Because he was all about Robbie Anderson last year.
DJ Moore, same thing.
Sam Darnold, DJ Moore, CMC. Yeah. You know, not only like just in the regular season, also in fantasy. Like, that was like his guys. I'm like, are you a Panthers fan? You're just not like... You haven't admitted it yet?
I mean, we've seen, I've kind of alluded to this on my Twitter account. We've kind of seen where Robbie Anderson thinks of this trade. Back when it was earlier in the talks, maybe a month or two ago, it was a fan account. It was like Panthers.way. something on Instagram tweeted out that following reports from, credible sources that Baker Mayfield and the Panthers are like the number one destination right now.
Yeah.
They're number one in the sweepstakes. And he just comments on the Instagram post, no.
Yeah.
And then there's a story about him talking about retirement. That might have been 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, I'm over retirement.
Right.
Well, what about now? God, that's got to be an awkward first meeting. I guarantee you Baker saw that. Baker's like a KD. He's on social media looking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you've got, of course, your known Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. If you want to, you can throw in Matt Stafford, top 4. After that, 5th, who do you have? Because you've got some really solid quarterbacks there. You've got Jared Goff. You got Kirk Cousins. Is Baker in that discussion?
Baker's not above Cousins. Cousins.
So Cousins, who'd be your 5th right now? Would he be?
It might be Cousins.
You got Jameis Winston. If you want to throw him in the ring as well in terms of like ranking.
The NFC. Now that we're naming the names, I'm optimistic about the NFC quarterbacks. They just have all of them are looking for something to prove.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the NFC quarterbacks. The AFC. I mean, we don't need to see what Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. We don't need to see what these guys have to prove. Even Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has not. We know what Ryan Tannehill is. We know what a Matt Ryan is. In the NFC side,
do you think Aaron Rodgers has something to prove? Yes.
No.
Even with the loss of Devontae Adams, he still has something to prove.
I think Aaron Rodgers' legacy has been stained by cynicism and his own antics.
Yeah.
I think his own antics have gotten
to his own fault. Yeah.
I think his own antics have gotten him a bad rap. Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowls. One, he got lucky going to a good Broncos team. Not lucky, it's Peyton Manning, but you get what I'm saying. If he stayed his entire career with the Colts, he might have only won 1 Super Bowl in 20 years. And everyone talks about Peyton Manning like he is the GOAT over Tom Brady, who won almost 10 now. Tom's closer to 10 than Peyton is closer to 4.
Because there's several. You make a good point.
Aaron Rodgers, he was elite. Elite. It's just his own antics kind of get in the way of his legacy.
It seems like who's going to be this year's Matt Stafford, right? Because Matthew Stafford had a lot of question marks when he got traded from the Lions to the Rams about where he was going to be. And what did he do? He delivered a Super Bowl to the Rams. I'm not saying that Baker will do that, but there's a handful of NFC quarterbacks that have a lot of question marks of things in terms of they need to prove themselves. Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield now is onto the equation. Can't forget about Carson Wentz. Now on his 3rd team. He has a lot of things he's got to answer. Dak, Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones. There's a ton of quarterbacks.
I want to talk more about because we talked yesterday at the end of the show about the AFC and their entire roster outlook. Let's talk about NFC quarterbacks when we get out of this break. But before we go to break, let me tell you about my friends here at Slim Chickens. I mean, let me tell you, Zach's always telling me about Slim Chickens, and it is to die for. Right now, they have a dry rub wings back for a limited time. The best way to order is through the Slim Chickens app. Have it delivered to your home or office or ahead of your pickup curbside. Go visit them in Mount Juliet, Murfreesboro, or Hendersonville. That's Slim Chickens, wings, tenders, and more.
Good afternoon. The earlier rank slowed it down pretty good on 65 North, trying to get up through Madison right now towards Goodlettsville. It's already busy up through there as it is. I see what looks to be maybe some weather delays on I-40 as you travel through Kingston Springs. We do see some crazy looking weather on the radar through certain parts of Middle Tennessee. It's heavy now out through Mount Juliet. I see that traffic slowing down 40 East at 840 just before you get into Lebanon. Hey, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, maybe some land or a farm here in Middle Tennessee, Greg Sanford is your professional realtor. Log on to gregsanford.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Great news from Rocket Mortgage. You could unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In fact, in the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could unlock all that cash in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up, because nobody knows how long these low rates will last. Put your hard-earned money to work. Make your life better. Build a home office. Remodel your kitchen. Or simply save that cash for a rainy day. Today's rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.25%, 3.48% APR, so you can lock in a great low monthly payment. When you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
Here's
Here's a not-so-fun fact. A new law just raised the minimum amount that stores can charge for a case of wine or spirits.
What?
But don't worry, you'll still have time to stock up at Total Wine & More with our unbeatable case discounts.
Ooh.
Through the end of this year, you'll get the best discount on cases of your favorite wine and spirits.
Wow. With those low prices, I'm going to need another cart.
We don't know why the 16th state wants you to pay 16% more, but we'll always have the lowest prices in Tennessee. Drink responsibly, B21.
Your Atlanta Braves are battling through the hot weather and big road trips as they look to push for a 4th straight division crown.
Next pitch to Riley. Swung on, hammered to deep center. Hey, the man! Home run!
Tonight, don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball live from Truist Park as the Braves look for a National League win against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Coverage begins tonight at 6:05 on your home for the Atlanta Braves, Nashville Sports Radio.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Afternoon stretch. Bruno, Reagan, Ray Dosky, come to you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studios. If you want to get into the fun, 615-844-5600. Speaking of, let's go to the phone lines. Adam in Portland. What are you on?
Hey, Bruno. I guess I'm a Baker guy, to be honest with you.
Me too.
I like him, and it seems like everybody hates him. But even whenever he did something as crazy as that gesture that he made or whatever, it was, warranted. Dude didn't want to shake his hand. Baker brought the Browns from nothing to something pretty good. I like him. Is that a problem that I like him?
No, I agree with you, dude. Plays through injury for his team. It's something that a professional wouldn't even really be expected to do. Most quarterbacks would just sit out, rehab to full. He has an edge to him. People look back to those antics in college back when he was a younger adult coming into his stardom, and they're like, he should go sit behind Tom Brady for a year in Tampa to quote-unquote mature. No. I like the guy. I like him too. If I was a teammate of his, I would like him. That's at least how I'd see it. Maybe, if I was a real teammate, I would see behind the layers. But from the surface, he looks like a warrior.
You know what's funny is that I'm upset because of the fact that I thought when Kevin Stefanski came into that Browns team, started being the head coach, I thought with his philosophy offensively fit to Baker Mayfield's talents. He seems so much like a play action type quarterback. You have these awesome running backs behind you and Hunt and Chubb. I thought he was going to excel. Unfortunately, it was just unlucky. Injuries, just not things bouncing his way, and which ultimately led for him to leave Cleveland, be traded to Carolina. So, no, I think that this is a great thing for him. Gives him a fresh start. See what happens.
Well, you got he's a pretty charismatic guy, right?
Absolutely.
It's not at home with Ryan Tannehill. It's at home with Baker Mayfield. And hopefully Cleveland, hopefully Carolina, took that in consideration. Who cares about Carolina Panthers football? Maybe somebody will care a little bit more now.
I care more. I'm interested. I'm interested to see. Yeah, thank you for the call, Adam. I'm interested to see. I think they're in the wild card picture now. They're not in the picture to win their division. I like
that pick. I like that pick because the NFC, there's so many question marks. We don't know who's going to show out this year.
Yes.
There's always that one or two teams that's going to surprise you. And I feel there's going to be a ton of them in terms of the NFC.
Yep. Speaking of NFC, we're going to really deep dive into the quarterbacks here. I think the top three is solidified between Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford. Put them 1, 2, 3, with Aaron Rodgers probably being a 2 or a 3, not a 1. You have to give it either Brady or Stafford, whichever one's personal preference. I say Stafford.
Are you looking at terms of career-wise or just this upcoming season?
Define your own criteria. Rank them.
Because we're thinking about
you could think Tom Brady is prettier. Put him one.
Well,
rank
anyway.
the NFC quarterbacks.
Well, if I were to rank in terms of the roster itself, I definitely have Rodgers at 3.
Yeah,
I'm almost 4th.
I think his talent's undeniable to be removed from the top 3, but he's 3 behind Stafford and Brady, who could go 1, 2 right now. I have Stafford as a personal 1.
I just when you look at the Aaron Rodgers situation, you've got 3 rookie wide receivers who he's come out and said that they're all playing the part this year in terms of the players who they drafted this upcoming season. You've got a shade of a shallow version of a Sammy Watkins.
I think Rodgers truly, he doesn't have a really charismatic personality. Not a lot of people see him speak and then get behind him, right? but he elevates through his play. I mean, look at these over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's an absurd TD to interception ratio. And what I say yesterday, the number one deciding factor in a football game with winning, look it up. This is in all levels of football. High school, Pop Warner, maybe not Pop Warner, high school, all real versions of football. The turnover margin. If you're not throwing picks, Ryan Tannehill, if you're not throwing picks and you're throwing touchdowns, you're going to win. So he might carry the Packers to another divisional conference loss. Just for the sheer fact that he doesn't make many mistakes.
Yeah, he doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't throw erratic throws. He's a good decision maker.
The same thing can be said about the Packers front office.
Yeah.
But
good coaching team. I think that this year you're going to see a different philosophy when it comes to Green Bay Packers. I think they're going to really rely on that run game between Aaron Jones as well as Dylan. I think they're going to go with that 1-2 punch because I think like they're going to try to keep
Aaron Jones is going to have a probably. He already had a great year last season. It's going to be up to even more probably because he's what other options do they have in Green Bay?
If you're looking for fantasy football, you're looking for running back. That's your guy. You go after in the first round. That is your guy.
But I mean, you really think about it. Last year, the answer for Green Bay was like Aaron Rodgers' answer was like let's bring back Randall Cobb. I mean, it kind of had a big play here and there, but that was it.
You lose MVS. You lose, an Adams. I mean, that's a lot to take.
It's too much. It's too much to have a championship.
Yes,
season.
he did great that last year when he didn't have any of those wide receivers when they played against the Arizona Cardinals, and he went down to Arizona as an underdog, and still came back and actually I think they dismantled Arizona. I think they beat them. It was a close game, but he was to win the game for Green Bay, even though as a underdog with no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen him be able to win without less weapons, but I mean that's just one game. What are we looking? What are we going to see in terms of an entire season? 17 games. Who's going to step up? Lazard? Is Lazard? I mean Watkins? I mean who's going to be the number one wide receiver? One of these rookie, wide receivers might step up, but we don't know.
The receiver position. I mean, was it Robinson out of Jacksonville a few years ago that just came out of nowhere? The receiver position is something where you can come out and just absolutely.
Yeah, you got your Jared Jeffries, and you have your Jeffries. You have your
especially
Jamar
the quarterback
Chase.
like Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, these young guys, you're going to be on the field for the first time. You got to be chomping at the bit. They could develop a superstar. This might not be one that's already made. Someone could develop out of this offense. But I mean, the rankings are the same though. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a solid 3, baby.
100%.
Now, so there's pods to this. There's the top 3, then 3 through 6, and then everybody else. I think 3 through 6 is consensusly Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, and Kirk Cousins. Fill those out. It would be tough to put Kirk Cousins as a 4, right? My personal thing is...
No, I'm with you on that.
My personal thing is Kyler Murray. I'm a Dak fan. I got to give Dak 5. And then Kirk Cousins 6. That would be my next 3 in. Kyler Murray, who, I mean, you want to talk about Baker Mayfield's getting the immature treatment. That's kind of the thing with Kyler Murray, too. It's a funny thing because, he's a shorter guy, so he doesn't have that stature that all those body image professionals would probably back up. You got guys like Chandler Jones going out there and calling him Baby Yoda all the time, which is hilarious. I mean, and then you see him having these kind of, I'm not going to call them tantrums because Tom Brady does it. Tom Brady does it anyway, but he does explode on the sideline every now and then, and then there's
they're going to show emotion, right?
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of the discourse around him. But his talent is undeniable. Talent's undeniable. So I have him at 4.
Okay, so I'm going into this season. Like I said, this is just going into this season rankings. I actually have, like you, Murray at 4, but I also have Cousins at 5 because I think that finally they have an offensive coordinator as a coach.
Yeah.
Sean O'Connell, is that his name? O'Connell? I forget his first name, but he's basically a taller version of Sean McVay.
Mm-hmm.
Same style, same statue, him as well as Matt LaFleur, all from the same coaching tree.
Yeah, I think Kirk Cousins gets...
So I'm going to get Cousins 5 because I think there's a lot of unknowns. You've got Dallas. Look, I love Dak. There's a lot of question marks with CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper no longer there.
There's a lot of question marks around Dak,
you got Zeke, who's regressing over the last 3 seasons. I don't know, and Tony Pollard's starting to supplant him in terms of like running game, like in terms of carries and stuff. The offensive line shifted again to who knows what's expect. I've got Dak at 6.
Dak pre-contract was elite.
He was.
Dak post-contract really good, but not necessarily elite. That's kind of the line we're treading with Dak right now, which is still really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have had post-contract, just disappeared off the face of the planet. He's still performing really, 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 really high level. But they have no excuse in that division. Excuse me. They have no excuse. The Cowboys have no excuse for having that conference not be wrapped up in a present for them these past 2 to 3 years.
Year in, year out. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's starting to get harder. Eagles, for what I've been saying about Jalen Hurts, and we're going to get to him, he's not even in my top 6. He might be 7 or 8. But the Cowboys had no excuse for that division even being close. Washington almost snuck it. Is that not mind-blowing? They almost snuck it. So, Dak, you're the quarterback, and you're the leader, and you're the one that's got to answer for that. So that's why he has been moved from elite to really good, but not elite. And last but not least, I'll give my say on Kirk Cousins. I truly like the guy. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that is in the really good, not elite category and gets talked about like he is dumpster trash. There are people out there that probably advocate, I'd rather have Jimmy G than Kirk Cousins. There are people that hate Kirk Cousins. There's that infamous wedding video or the gender reveal. Mm-hmm. It's like a board 10 feet away and he misses. He almost misses. He hits
classic
the corner.
Kirk Cousins. Classic.
He hits the corner, right? But they've gone. The Vikings have gone places with him. They've lost some pieces here and there, but they also have one of, if not the best young wide receiver in the game, who sadly didn't give a raving review of Kirk Cousins. Remember when Justin Jefferson was asked about how historic his career has been, how close he's been to all this, Randy Moss record, yada, yada. And they're like, how much do you attest that to Kirk Cousins? And he was like, he throws me the ball. It wasn't a raving review, but maybe that was just being, it's
definitely a slap in the face.
It is. I come from the Vanderbilt University, from the communications department, and they always have a saying, because what we would do is we would study the orations of the great leaders, and every saying has a meaning. But I don't think that's necessarily true regarding the NFL and football, because sometimes dudes are tired. They go out there and they're like, he throws me the ball. Sometimes it might really be as brainless as that. So I don't give too much harm or foul
stake into that.
But it is interesting coincidence that it's always Kirk Cousins on the end of these kind of jokes. But he's still in the top 6 of the entire conference. Not bad. I think worth the money. Now we get to, fill in the blanks. You got the Jameis Winstons, the Trey Lances, the Carson Wentz, and the Jalen Hurts. I think Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts fully round out the top half through 8. Jalen Wentz, Carson Wentz. Would you agree?
You wouldn't put Jared Goff in that?
Not yet. No. There are some people. I'm looking at 2 different lists, and there are some people.
What about Zach's boy, Goff, man? Zach's boy. Marcus.
No.
Mariota.
Dude, Marcus.
No.
Marcus is in leagues with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. That's just what.
Zach, if you're watching, I hope you heard that.
Zach, that is the painful reality of Marcus Mariota. I loved Marcus too. Great guy. Whenever you hear an athlete get that said about him, great guy. But
hold on. So you got him over Geno Smith. Does that mean that you have Drew Lock above Marcus?
No. I think I was cut off, and I was about to say.
Sorry.
I think I was about to say Drew Lock after Geno Smith. They're just one and the same. We're gonna continue. We're gonna finish out the first hour with this talk. We'll kind of put a stamp on the rankings, but we're gonna go to a break. If you want to get in on the phone line, 615-844-5600. Don't go anywhere.
Well, quite busy in the last few minutes. 65 trying to get it past Metro Center here at Rosa Parks. It's running pretty heavy at times on 65 north up through Goodlettsville. 24 has picked up with that traffic volume. It looks like it's starting to slow down a bit on 24 as you continue westbound out through Pleasant View. On your way out towards Clarksville, lots of radar out in that area this afternoon. Hey, Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, it's home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Yes, they have other flavors. Check them out at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Reigning Cup Series champion Kyle Larson is on, and has there been some wins that might have gotten away in 2022?
Yeah, I don't know. There was definitely a couple that we almost won that slipped away there late. Kansas and Charlotte. I feel like in both of those we kind of performed at a very great level and honestly a little bit better than what we should have, and that's just a testament to our team and how strong we are. But yeah, I mean, I feel like as I'm sure everybody does, I feel like we're really close to being good and leading you more laps and challenging for you more wins. So the cars are developing each week. Everybody's refining their stuff and setups and getting better, and we just got to keep working really hard.
And Kyle, what's your frustration level this year comparing to your amazing 2021?
No, I mean, I haven't been frustrated yet. I think I understand that the season we had last year is hard to repeat, especially going into a season with a new car and all that. So that's probably, I'm sure if we were in last year's car and I was sitting here with the same stats, yeah, I'd probably be frustrated. But I think with having the understanding that we have a new car and all that and pit stops and everything, that helps kind of forget about the success, I guess, of last year.
This is the final lap.
For everything you need to head back to school at prices that won't hold you back, Staples has you covered.
I need it all. Notebooks, folders, crayons, and a unicorn backpack.
Everything on my list, in stock and price low.
Staples has you covered with everything your student needs for school. This week, Staples one-subject notebooks are just 35 cents each. Plus, Polly Pocket folders and Crayola 24-count crayons are only 50 cents each. Don't send your kids back to school. Send them forward at Staples, the working and learning store. N79 in-store only, limit 30.
Want to kill bugs like the pros do? Now you can with Maggie's Farm. Created by pest control professionals, Maggie's Farm plant and mineral-based products provide amazingly effective insect control. Ants, roaches, spiders, flies, mosquitoes, you name it, we kill it. All of our plant-based products are safe to use around children and pets and won't leave behind a messy, oily residue like some other products. Maggie's Farm. Lethal to bugs. Easy on the planet. Look for Maggie's Farm at your favorite retail store or at maggiesfarmproducts.com.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist, featuring the new Titleist Vokey SM9 wedges, their most superior handcrafted wedge design ever. The new SM9 grooves are cut to maximize the interaction of ball and face for lower flight and higher spin. Get precise distance and trajectory control like a pro with the SM9s. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home with a 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Bruno, Reagan, Ray Dosky, afternoon stretch. We're coming up on the second hour. Real quick, I just wanted to go over the people left out, right? You got the Trey Lances, you got the Jameis Winstons, you got the Justin Fields, you got the Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff and Jameis Winston are the next guys up on the list. But other than that, I mean, Trey Lance and Justin Fields especially, they got something to prove. Daniel Jones should be out of the NFL for all intents and purposes, in my opinion. And then you got Marcus Mariota, Geno Smith, and Sam Darnold, along with Daniel Jones in the get out of the NFL. That's my personal opinion, all right?
That rounds out the NFC East, huh?
That rounds out the NFC and our
Oh, sorry. I don't want to keep saying NFC East. NFC quarterbacks.
That rounds us out, all right? Hey, guys, we're going to a break. Hour 2 coming up. We're going to be having some interesting NBA talk. Me and Ray will actually give our top 5 overall NBA players. We'll debate, we'll discuss. Coming to you on Hour 2.
ABC News. I'm Derek Dennis. Police in Richmond, Virginia say a tip from someone they're calling a hero helped them stop a planned mass shooting during the city's 4th of July celebration. They say the tipster overheard the 2 men arrested discussing it. Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney.
Working on a tip, our officers quietly investigated and collaborated with their law enforcement partners and the community to stop what could have been a terrible day for the city of Richmond.
Authorities arrested the men and seized assault rifles. Formal charges have been filed against the suspect in the deadly mass shooting at the July 4th parade in Highland Park, Illinois. Robert Cremo is facing 7 counts of murder. Jurors found 32-year-old Eric R. Holder Jr. guilty of first-degree murder Wednesday for the 2019 fatal shooting of rapper Nipsey Hussle. Pat Cipollone, Donald Trump's former White House counsel, has agreed to testify Friday before the House January 6th committee. This is ABC News.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Hey, Braves fan, it's time for baseball, and that means it's time to cheer on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, in the 2022 season. Attorney Klein Preston of the Klein Preston Law Group wants you to join him in cheering on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, for the start of the 2022 season. Here's to another amazing season for Braves country here on your home for the Atlanta Braves. Nashville Sports Radio.
Dry rub wings are back at Slim Chickens. Fresh, fried, and full of flavor. Like smooth and kickin' cayenne ranch, zesty lemon pepper, or turn it up with new spicy Nashville hot. Try them today with a meal or feed your hungry crowd. But hurry, they're only back for a limited time. At Slim's, bold flavor is what we do. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
It's a Bill King Show.
Getting to the sodium pentothal time, which would be the games, because there's nothing that replaces the games. You can practice all you want. The truth serum is the game. Practice is very important to sharpen your craft, but it's not where you get graded. You get your report card from the stats in the ball game.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Okay, it's happening.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Now here's Bruno and Zach.
Second hour, coming to you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. This is the afternoon stretch. Zach Williams, Bruno Reagan, Ray Dosky, minus the Zach Williams. Yeah, can I get a one afternoon stretch, please? Hold the Zach Williams. That's exactly how they ordered it this week, baby.
Don't need the carbs.
Sorry, I'm trying to cut. Wait, can you get the Zach Williams out of here, please?
Don't need the carbs.
God, I'm having so much fun, and it's not because I don't miss him, but it is fun. I will say that.
But you don't miss him.
I'm just tripping on the new power I have right now. This is my platform now. I can say whatever I want. I'm not going to. Out of respect for the recently gone Zach Williams in that horrible botched gastric bypass surgery, the weight loss surgery, and he still had the skin removal one afterwards. So it's tough. It's tough. We lost our boy. Anyways, moving on. I mean, the entire first hour, NFL talk, Baker Mayfield, what's going on with the Browns, outlook for the Panthers, what it says about the Seahawks, what it says about the coaches, the personnel, all NFC quarterbacks, what does Baker fit in there? Now we're going to shift gears. Now we're going to go to bouncy ball time.
Bouncy ball time?
NBA. Me and Ray put together our top 5 players in all of the NBA, just top 5. Top 5 overall players in the National Basketball Association. What list are we going to start with first, Ray?
We'll start off with the hero.
host,
We're going to go with the hero here first.
The hero of the show. We'll go with my list first, all right? If you want to call in, 615-844-5600. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you're disappointed by my list. Number 1, I got Steph Curry right now. I think Steph Curry is the X factor. I think he's the best in the game. I think he's the most consistent. I think he is the piece that keeps that Golden State squad that has essentially created a dynasty. The NBA's version of the Patriots. He is that dude. He is, in his game, unstoppable. It was tough when I had to think about this. 1 and 2, I had to think about it. Giannis was a contender for my number 1 spot. Giannis and Steph, in my opinion, they're both unstoppable in what they do. But Giannis's way of playing, and not saying that Curry, it doesn't happen to Curry, he's had his own trouble with injuries, especially even this year, even down the stretch. But Giannis's way of playing, it's kind of like watching a Derrick Henry play basketball, right? Mm-hmm. There's a worry of it being unsustainable. He's so physical. He's one of those old school guys. I have 2 guys who even the old heads would describe being able to play in their era. I have 2 guys on that list, I think. Hey, obviously 3, because Curry could play in that era. I mean, you're not going to stop him just from, yeet, ball going in from wherever, right? I think just Steph Curry I give it to Steph as number 1 because he has the championships. It's like the Tom Brady of the NBA right now, in my opinion. All right. And there's a notable omission from my list. I did not put LeBron in. And that's not to stay, but it's hard to convincingly. LeBron, in my opinion, is the greatest NBA player of all time. This is the list for right now. And LeBron, with a cast like Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis, can't will the Lakers even to the playoff. That's an issue on me. All right. So for all the respect I have for Bron and everything he's done, I omitted him from my list. Number 3, I got Luka. I mean, this is the guy who I think is the fastest riser. You want to talk about carrying a team. He was absolutely cooking people this postseason.
You have a few players on your list that carries a team.
Well, that's kind of why they're on the list, too.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, even 5, who I've always, I never thought I'd put Kevin Durant, Brooklyn Nets Kevin Durant, after all the dysfunction on the list, but he's there. You have more respect for the overall career on your list, I think. Mine is just super recency biased. So I got Luka right now, number 3. Number 4, I got Joker. This is a guy who would ascend all eras. I have respect for the physicality, of course, being a football guy. And Joker has some finesse to him, too. That's interesting.
He does.
He has some finesse to him, too. Maybe this is just me being a fan. Ever since I watch people try and score, because Joker's physical. A lot of times he gets into it with other NBA players.
And I think you like that the most about him. You like that charismatic part, that characteristic of him. Like, he takes no bull.
Yes. We have Nick giving his list. I'm gonna shout him out real quick. He has number 1 Embiid, number 2 Durant, number 3 Giannis, number 4 LeBron, number 5 Curry. Interesting. That's what I like about these top players right now lists. They're so.
He's got Embiid at 1, huh?
He's got Embiid at 1. I just didn't respect him after he's like, I think Miami needs a number superstar. I was like, shut up. That was me. But Joker. Yeah, ever since that video came out of someone was talking trash to him. I can't even remember. Someone was talking trash to him.
It was our game.
Yeah.
Sometime last season.
I mean, him and his brothers looked like they were ready to murder people. And I identified with that. Big fan. And plus, always in the MVP discussion in the recent years. Always. Dude carries the Nuggets. Lastly, I have Kevin Durant. Always was a Kevin Durant hater until I saw him deal with the dysfunction that this Nets Big Three was. Absolute torture. Because they were always the favorites, the shoo-ins. They should have been the guys. And then it was just KD out there for a playoff. It was just him. And he almost willed them to the finals. Some would say they should have been in there. The foot didn't touch the line. I got to give KD. And KD would probably hate it seeing him at 5. He'd be like, God, this guy's an idiot. But to me, it's respect that I put him in the top 5 because I already had such a bad opinion of him and his mental. I had no idea he was about that life. He was about that ball life. Ray, what do you want to pick apart about my list? Give me the most egregious. Give me what you agree on. Give me what's most.
I'm surprised
egregious.
You have Luka that high. I'm a fan of Luka, but I'm surprised you have him that high.
He's had the praise from the Almighty.
He has.
He has had the praise from LeBron James. LeBron's like, because LeBron's there's 2 guys I think LeBron wants to play with the most that he hasn't. Steph was one he said, and Luka was the other he said.
Yeah, he is a huge Luka Doncic fan. I absolutely 100%.
And Luka's only. I remember when I was in the Exit Fellow, I was watching Luka, and I was like, "Damn, this guy's good. This guy's super good." And then he only kept getting better. He only kept getting better. So what's to say he's not just going to take the next steps?
When you talked about this while you were going through your rankings about having the team on your back, Luka is definitely one of those guys. There's a lot of changes that happened in Dallas. They got rid of Porzingis. He was shipped off to Washington.
Poor Porzingis.
Yeah, and they were able
say that 10 times fast.
Yeah,
Poor Porzingis.
Yeah,
Poor Porzingis. Poor Porzingis.
It's like you're trying to say pole position. But if in terms of like that roster, they were at the brink to also that knocked out, a Phoenix squad that was heavily favored to go to the finals. Of course, they didn't show out in the Western Finals against the Golden State Warriors, but Luka basically put everything on his back on that team. Mm-hmm. Much like Nikola Jokic, he did the same thing with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, this guy had no Murray, had nobody helping him out. Back-to-back MVP winner? That's crazy. So I probably would have had Nikola probably third, Luka fourth, but I actually like that. I mean,
LeBron James admission? Am I tripping? Am I tripping for that?
I'm gonna wait until I put out my rankings about what my thoughts are about LeBron James, because you stated on the earlier about before you went on your rankings about like yours is more or less like career stats more or less compared to this year right now. LeBron James had a career year this year at the age of 38.
Mm-hmm.
He was 3 games away from being the scoring title recipient this year. I mean, the guy, but he decided to sit out the last 4 games because of injury, stuff like that. He's like, scoring title is not worth to me as much, but he was in that MVP consideration.
And I think that's fair for him to say, and that's fair for me to omit him from the list.
See, that's why I'm not saying player. I'm not saying he's on the best team. I'm staying away from the team. We're just talking about player. I don't care about the team because the Lakers as a whole, they suck. I think Anthony Davis has peaked. Russell Westbrook, I think they're trying to figure out what they're trying to do there. Who knows what they're trying to make a trade?
I'm not scared to say Russell Westbrook is terrible.
Yeah.
He's playing bad.
I feel like a lot of times it's just like we talked about it the last few days about like how what do the Lakers do from here? Can they find a coach that can basically put these players in position to actually be effective in what they're trying to do offensively? So who knows what's going to happen with this rookie coach that's coming in? But I'm not. I like the list. I'm a big Giannis fan. On my list, here we can go to my list real quick if you want to.
Let's do it. Let's start talking. Let's start talking. So my Ray Dosky's list. Now Ray Dosky is probably in this room 4 times the NBA knowledge, maybe 8 times the NBA knowledge that I have. So let's see what Ray Dosky.
This list was tough, honestly, because there's a lot of players to choose from, especially this past year.
Yeah, this is a good list topic.
Because you think about like John Morant that's out there. You got what's it called? Which just talked about on our Facebook feed about Joel Embiid. Yep. Is he a top 5 consideration? I mean, there's so many people.
He was put at 1 by Nick.
Yeah,
Nick had him at
number 1. He said, I'm putting him right at the top. Okay, fine. That's your list. And I like Joel Embiid. Probably he's revolutionized the big man position forever, But in terms of number 1, I like Giannis. I think that what he's able to do, I like Giannis because not only does he play ball, but he plays it the right way. You can build around him. And he's so refreshing of a superstar. There's no drama with him.
Yeah.
He's probably like the most like quietest superstar in the NBA.
Yeah, he's not on burner.
Won a championship. I mean, have you seen this movie?
No.
About his it's on Disney right now. My kid made me watch it the other night or today. That is. It was actually a good movie. It talks about like how he was, why he never left Milwaukee, because of what Milwaukee did for him and his family. His family was it was crazy about his families being immigrants and stuff like that. They went to Greece and the
immigration process is tough.
Especially in Greece, and they were talking about like how they were trying to they were living in this one place, trying not to get caught because if they did, they had to get exported back to, I believe they're from Nigeria. I feel like that's where they're from. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that. But they sent it back home, and they were like they always had to duck people. Then a guy that was like a rep found and discovered him, and they were trying to get him to go to Spain and these other leagues, and he came back and he said, like, there's an NBA draft coming up in 2 months. You're invited. He was 18 years old. Goes to the draft. He was supposed to chop between him, it was the Bucks, the 76ers, all this stuff, whatever. And the Bucks ended up taking a chance on him, even with the risk of bringing his entire family from over there. So I understand why he stayed with Milwaukee. I think he paid dividends by bringing them a championship. MVP final.
It's one of those wholesome things where it works out.
Yeah,
it works out for the team. It works out for the player. That's how business should be.
Yeah. Then you got Kevin Durant too. I like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant is I feel like bona fide as a 7-footer, like one of the best shooters in the league. And right below him, Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is probably one of the most unselfish players in the league. He revolutionized the guard play. Before it was like basically driving to the paint, pick and roll. Now
he's probably the most influential player. For
he changed the dynamic of
everybody under the age of 13.
Absolutely,
Everyone
wants to be Curry now. No one wants to be Chris Paul. No one wants to be Jason Kidd. Like,
oh my God, they don't even know who Chris Paul is. It's all Chris Paul's Steph for
Curry.
us.
Steph Curry is what revolutionized. He created like the Damian Lillards and the John. Like he changed the structure of how guard play should be. Then I got Nikola Jokic. I've got him at 4. That was a hard one for me, but I like Joker, like I just talked about earlier. Back-to-back MVP winners. I think he's the cornerstone of that Denver Nuggets team. And at 5, I got LeBron James. LeBron James is still doing it year in, year out. The guy pays $1 million to get his body in shape every season, regardless of the fact that he's playing with Russell Wilson. I don't care who it is. I'm not talking about Russell Wilson. I'm talking about Russell Westbrook. But
I make that mistake all the time.
But like the thing is that he brought a title, and look, you talked about it, you made fun all the time about like, oh, that bubble championship. That's just what it is. There's that asterisk.
Win a real ring.
Win a real ring. It's an asterisk, But in terms of rankings, LeBron James almost won the scoring title this year at the age of 38. He's still doing it against the youngins. It really is.
How many more years do we have
of LeBron James?
I
don't really know because
is there?
I think until we all know what his next goal is. He wants a scoring title.
Play with his kid.
No, he wants a scoring title. That's also another milestone for that he wants to reach. He wants to play with his son. And I think right now, Bronny James, if he were to be drafted, I think he's like the 62nd top player.
Yeah, I don't know. So I've seen some Bronny James stuff, and it's kind of like a reach.
Well, he's a 6'3" guard. That's what he is right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's still going to grow. But his brother, who's like 14 years old, Byron James, is 14. He's 6'4" already.
Yeah,
he's 6'4".
That's insane.
And
walking around middle school at 6'4" is
and he plays
horrifying.
Much like his dad. Same body structure, same dunking. Like he plays just like.
Hey, shout out to all the older kids out. Shout out to all the oldest kids out there. You're typically the ones that don't get the good genes. But you're typically the test dummy.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, but I think that we've got maybe a good 3 more years left of him because I think he wants Kareem's title.
3 high-level years of LeBron James left.
So who knows? In those 3 years, does he bring a title back to LA? Who knows? Because they're such in a cap handcuff right now with Russell Westbrook's contract.
God, Russell Westbrook is murdering this. It is sabotage right now. They're getting sabotaged from the inside. If Russell Westbrook if he had honor, he would take a pay cut. If I was Russell Westbrook, I would not take a pay cut. I would steal that money and sleep.
Isn't he stealing it now?
He's stealing it now, and he's sleeping.
He opted in.
Russell Westbrook is sadly like me. He's going to take that money. He's going to be like, it's mine. And then tank the Lakers. Do you think there's a chance Russell Westbrook can redeem himself?
I think he wants to play hard. I think he puts a lot of effort on there. If I were to take a chance between him and a Kyrie Irving, I think that I would take the chance, even though Kyrie Irving is an exceptional player. But it's just that he's not dependable.
At least Russell Westbrook
is dependable.
There.
He's there.
There.
It's just that in terms of offensive scheme, we don't know what Darvin Ham's going to do with this entire roster. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. So all that goes back onto to LeBron at the end of the day. They lost Malik Monk.
Always has.
Yeah, they lost Malik Monk, who was centerpiece that they traded last year before they signed in. He went to Sacramento. I don't know what this roster is going to look like this coming season. Who knows? And they're saying that right now. Kyrie Irving, we're not really into serious negotiations or really interested in Kyrie Irving right now. I don't know what the truth is anymore. I really don't. Because I don't know what the Lakers know what they're trying to do.
None of us do. It's always there's 5 people on planet Earth that know what's going on with these talks.
But I mean,
everything else is hearsay, say so for leverage.
Yeah, but the thing about what Russell Westbrook is you got to be able to cater to what he does great. Driving to the basket, he's aggressive to the hoop. He's not an outside shooter. He's a triple double every night. But that's who he is. But you don't need that triple double effort from Russell Westbrook every night because you have a LeBron James on your team, who's also a guard at forward. At 6'10" or what have you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do this year. I don't know what to expect. I don't even know if LeBron James can bring another title. And to answer your question, he wants a scoring title because I think he wants to cement the GOAT status. Hey, I've done everything. I've been to the most championships. Even though I'm 4-6 in the finals, I've got 4 rings, MVPs, 18-time, 19-time All-Star, top 75 all-time NBA. Now I'm the scoring title. I am the GOAT. He just wants that over Jordan.
Yeah. We'll continue these NBA talks coming out of the break. But before we go, let me tell you about my friends at Hayes Nissan of Rivergate. Go check them out on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. Once there, you can see the full lot and take a virtual tour of each vehicle. They're open on their website 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, open all the time on their website, or go see them in person at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Good afternoon. Still heavy traffic right on schedule out here on 24 across the Sullivan Evans Bridge. Heavy on the South Loop, trying to get past Broadway into Mumbury there on 40 eastbound. It still looks like it's running a little bit slower than normal on 24 westbound through Pleasant View. All that traffic continuing out towards Clarksville, Montgomery County. It's getting snagged right there in Pleasant View on 24 going west. Hey, Ripley's has a great summer camp experience lined up for the kids. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Get your July Instant Games here.
Hey, you want all new July Instant Games from the Tennessee Lottery? They're heading this way.
Oh, yeah. Grab 4. These aren't peanuts. These tickets pay out big cash, like $500,000.
We'll take 4, please.
4 July Instant Games coming at you. Miss, if you wouldn't mind passing these down. Snag yours today.
Make a play for a big win this season with July Instant Games, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
You'd be amazed to learn what one Tennessee Lottery ticket can lead to. For you, it could be lucky, but for others, it could open the door to so much more. With more than $6 billion raised for education, the Tennessee Lottery has proudly funded over 1.5 million scholarships and grants. That means, on average, more than 130,000 Tennesseans every year continue their education just because you played. The Tennessee Education Lottery, game-changing, education-benefiting fun.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Dealing with ED is difficult enough, but the pressure of not satisfying your partner makes it even worse. ED can be tough on a relationship. But at HIMSS, you can contact a medical provider online and, if appropriate, get the prescription medication that treats ED at affordable prices. HIMSS ED medication has the same active ingredients as Viagra, but because it's generic, you pay 90% less. That's right, 90% less. A whole month's supply is just $30, and it's sent right to your home for free in discreet packaging. HIMSS offers the same medication you'd get from your doctor, but without the copay, expensive appointments, or awkward face-to-face conversations. And with HIMSS, every online visit is free, and your relationship right back on track. For a free online consultation, go to forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free visit. forhims.com/joy.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a drama coach to be an IT guy.
Yeah, I'm having trouble logging in.
I'm not buying it. Say it again, this time with feeling.
I can't log in?
Come on, man. I want to feel your struggle.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Now, like your life depends on it.
I can't log in.
Yes, we'll make an actor out of you yet.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here.
The Braves, live here on Nashville Sports Radio.
Welcome back. Afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Ray Dosky, Zach Williams, out on vacation. Hey, today's Wednesday. Today's the last day of the week in Bruno world. We're coming to you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. If you want to join the conversation, 615-844-5600. That's the phone line. We're talking general NBA, all right? We just gave our top 5 players. Now we're kind of, because we've had the Kyrie drama, then we have the Kevin Durant drama immediately drop after the Kyrie drama. We've had some, talk about Kent Perkins is going after everybody out there. Ray, I want to ask you, Did you see that they're filming a Ja Morant documentary already? Have you seen clips from these? I just recently.
No, but I did see that he tipped some waiter the other night.
That's from. So everyone's like, "Why are you recording this, bro? Why are you recording this, bro?" Did you see what he called himself?
No.
Black Jesus. Said, "I'm Black Jesus."
He's doing it right.
Yeah.
He is the god of Twitter. Like
that was the most
he knows
NBA
what he's
player
doing.
thing I've ever seen in my absolute life. What's the outlook for Memphis? Does it have to get to the NBA final or bust next season?
I think so. I think for many fans, they believe that they're expecting a better performance this year. I think there was a lot of hopeful, fans that thought this year was going to be the year for them.
Yeah. Let me ask you: was the thought process before this season started that they were going to be this successful?
No. I think that for them,
it was a surprise to people, right?
Yeah. Well, the year before that, when they were, I believe, in the bubble, they made the playoffs, and this year they were all, outside looking in. They were more or less like that 7-10 team, like in the West, in terms of getting into that one playoff and done scenario. And this year they just completely eclipsed whatever was expected of them this year. Who in their right minds would have thought that Memphis would have the second best record in the West?
Yep. And now, but with great power comes great responsibility. And that speaks for the team. And that speaks for the young Ja Morant.
Right.
You got it, man. You're now a bona fide superstar. Now you got to deal with all the superstar things. We're going to criticize every single thing, every cryptic
bullseye
tweet,
on your back.
Every cryptic tweet you have. Ja Morant, my brother in Christ, your Twitter account looks like the Da Vinci Code.
Do you think he cares? Like
No.
he doesn't care. Like
no.
He
He's
wants that.
He's like 21 years old and worth $250 million or something.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care.
He's got over
taxes is actually 125. Still over 100 bans.
I see some of these NBA players. They have like over 500,000 followers on Twitter. He has over 1 million followers. He's doing something right.
He's a star.
Yeah, he is a star.
I wonder if he can keep. How long are we going to see the Ja Morant in the NBA? Because he just exploded onto this. He exploded onto a scene that already had a ton of superstars. The NBA is chock full of the best athletes on the planet. Even when we were talking about our top 5, there's so many players omitted. Just because we didn't even talk. The Suns are one of the best teams in the West, and we didn't even talk about any of their players. They're not even probably close on a top 5 list. None of them.
No.
A Devin Booker, a DeAndre Ayton, they're not out there. So one of the best teams. That just shows how deep the NBA is.
Absolutely. Where would you rank Ja outside that top 5? Where does he sit?
Tough one. He's top 10.
Top 10?
I think I'd have him at 8, 9, or 10.
He definitely moved up this past year. I think he was in the 20s, right? Say maybe between that 15 to 20 mark, and then he literally moved up that ladder of terms of stardom in the NBA this upcoming season. For me, he's around 8 or 9 for me in terms of what he's able to do. Will he last long? Yeah. You're talking about a 21-year-old who's going to take a couple years as he grows into his body, starts to thicken out a little bit.
He did some things this past season. They were inhuman.
Yeah.
Inhuman. It made me swear on Twitter. If I said the things on Twitter I was saying about Ja Morant and some of the highlights he made, I would get fired.
Have you been to a game?
No,
we gotta go to a game. Yeah, we have to go to a game because it's.
I love Memphis too. Memphis. Hey, if you've never been to Memphis and you're listening to the show, you're missing out. There's so many just good vintage food places down in Memphis. Now the thing about Memphis is I have visited a lot for tournaments. Everything say so. There are some parts of the town, just don't leave anything valuable in your car. That's part of the deal. All right.
Sure.
But if you know how to navigate it, they have what's that street? Bourbon Street?
Beale Street.
Beale Street. Yeah, Bourbon Street. Beale Street. It's right beside the stadium, too.
It is. Yes.
So, it's Memphis is a fun little town, man. It's a fun little town in terms of NBA markets.
What's crazy about Memphis, it looks like what Nashville looked like 15 years ago.
Exactly.
It's still not developed yet. There's a lot of old
There's
a
small town feel to an absolutely massive city.
Absolutely.
In Tennessee standards.
It's like maybe if you go to Beale Street, you're like 4 or 5 blocks each way, and like the what is the FedEx Forum, or I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
It's right downtown, and it's electric. Those fans are like as crazy. I went to a few games to cover the Memphis Grizzlies, and if you go see Ja Morant live, he is just as advertised as you see him on TV.
Right now, Nick on Twitter, he actually gave me something we can until the next break. I guarantee you and me can talk about this. I meant to bring it up yesterday, and it kind of got lost in the sauce.
What's that?
Pelicans extending Zion Williams.
Yeah.
Ray, give me your thoughts first.
You look at Zion, started over 80 games. John Morant started
in his career.
Yes,
in his career. I believe 3 seasons in the NBA right now for Zion.
80 games. John Morant started 180 plus games.
Woo! And guess who got paid? Guess what they got paid?
Zion
near the exact same.
No, I think Zion got a little bit more. He's in the twos. He's around 210. He got the max contract. I forget what the number is exactly. And I believe that John Morant got 187.
Sheesh.
Yeah, exactly. Sheesh is right. And so, this Pelicans team, there's talk to them if Zion comes back and he's like mentally he's ready to go. His leg heals up. The Pelicans made a nice little run towards the end of the season. Knocked out the Lakers for that 10th spot in terms of the Western playoff seeding. And you look at this team, this coaching staff, young. You got Brandon Ingram, young and biting star. You got C.J. McCollum. Now you have a guard play who can shoot the three. You bring in a healthy Zion Williamson. Don't be surprised if the Pelicans, if they put it all together, they will have kind of like the same type of run that the Memphis Grizzlies had this past season.
They have that player Hayes, right?
Yeah, they have that as well.
Jackson Hayes?
Yep.
He was the son of my XFL coach.
Was he really?
Yeah, so we were always kind of super Pelican fans up
the
there.
Pelicans, they're kind of flying on the radar. They made a nice little second half push, turned it around, ended up going to the playoffs. They're not going to be a surprise team next year. I think there's going to be a lot of expectations. They're getting a lot of hype, much like the Eagles are getting this year, if that makes sense to you.
My thing with the Pelicans, my favorite thing that people have said is that on Zion's end, they wanted to get a deal done. Zion's end wanted to get a deal done. The dude is unproven. Forgive me. His longevity and his durability are unproven. We know the dude can play. What he averaged, over 20 points per game in the season where he played more than 60 games in that season?
He did.
That was his middle season, I would say.
And he had some highlight reels himself. The thing about Zion,
when he plays, he's the big dog on the court.
He's a 300-pounder guy. He plays much like Barkley. He's a Charles Barkley build. That's what he is.
Yeah, you think he's gonna have the Charles Barkley after NBA effect too?
Who knows? I hope that'd be nice because that'd be a nice career for him if he has an after NBA career. Because Charles Barkley's doing himself real nice over at Tennessee.
I meant physically.
Oh, physically?
Is Zion gonna blow up? Is he gonna look like an ex-football player?
It just depends. You get into it
I get it.
No, but you work out for so many years and you put yourself through your body through these regimens to keep yourself in shape, and you're a top light professional or in terms of athlete speed, if you will. Then when it's like, okay, I'm kind of done with it because I've been doing it since I was 10, and now I'm at this age, you kind of get tired of it. You're like, all right, I just want to just eat a Big Mac. I just don't care.
The Pelicans are getting a lot of criticism for signing, but to me, it really seemed like there was no other option. What else are they going to do? Are they not going to sign their superstar young guy? Are they really just going to?
No, he's the face of the team. Of course, they're not going to get rid of him.
So while they're getting criticized for paying an unproven guy, basically the most money of anyone over a guy like Ja, who probably deserves it more. That's the nature of the beast. He wins. Yeah, I win. Mm-hmm. That's him. He's like an evil villain right now.
Well, there's a lot of reports that came out of the fact that he was not happy being drafted by the Pelicans. He wanted to be a New York Knick the night that the draft happened, and they thought he was going to be a New York Knick.
Hey, boo-hoo.
Exactly. You're in the NBA. You're making $200 million. Go to New York in the offseason. You're going to see him a couple times during the season. Go hang out there. Dude, you I don't understand when you get drafted to a team.
I get it. Listen, the state of Louisiana. What? I hate Louisiana. I hate being in Louisiana.
But if you think about if you're actually drafted by a team, how often do you stay in that city during the season? Half the time.
You stay in it during the season. Off the season, you're wherever you want.
You're out want to be, right? Even during the season, you're on the road half of the time of the season.
That is
right?
true. No, I get what you're saying.
There's the time you're in there, you're just you can go wherever you want. You have friends come into town, which is what you see. John Morant, all these guys are partying at these little lavish mansions, having pool parties. They just don't care. You have all the money in the world. You can bring people in to whatever you want.
I think he realizes that now.
Oh yeah, he's showing it on Twitter. He's having these pool parties. I'm like, yo, can I go party with John Morant? Because you know how much I like to party. I'm Mr. Miami. John, just reach out to me. Ray Dosky Sports. I'll come hang out with you. I'll come through.
Really, that's probably your element. You'd probably fit in with those guys, to be honest. I don't know if I could party with basketball players. I just have to. Zion Williams, though, he could play tackle. He'd be one of the best tackles in the NFL, maybe if he was training for that skill set. That dude is just a freak, phenomenal athlete. Congrats on your money, Zion. You kind of hamstrung. You did just enough to force the Pelicans to pay you that money.
Yeah, and
So congrats.
And I believe that that's the move they had to make. I think that there were some videos that came out during his rehab where he, was making all these crazy dunks. He looked like he was on his way. There was talks of him possibly showing up towards the end of the playoffs. Like he was going to maybe appear. It was like the second or maybe the last game in that series, and he was going to be able to show up and play. He ended up the Pelicans were like, no, we're going to shut him down. We want to be safe because we know we have a $230 million investment here that we want to see longevity come out of that.
$250 million for one man. I mean, he is the franchise.
He is the franchise, and I think that I think based off what he saw this last season, towards the end of it, that there's a lot of hope out of New Orleans, and that there's going to be a high expectations of possibly making a strong playoff rush because
they have to.
The Lakers are what? They're in a downward spiral.
They are in a spiral.
Yeah.
They're at the bottom. They're heading towards the abyss. They're not there yet, but they are heading that direction.
When they change the NBA stats, like for example, did you see that little tweet that came out from Chris Paul?
No.
So Chris Paul came out.
I might have, but...
So Chris Paul came out about a week ago talking about how... Because before there was only 8 teams that made it to the playoffs. Now it's up to 10 teams.
Yes.
Of course, the 7 through 10, they play that one-and-done type scenario. Yep. Chris Paul came out and said that, it just sucks at the fact that you're the best team in the league all year round, that you have 9 more wins than the second team, which I believe was the Miami Heat or was the Grizzlies. I can't remember which one. But they had 9 more wins than the second team behind them. And then... afterwards, but you play against one of these lesser teams and you get bounced out early, referring to the Dallas Mavericks because Dallas basically knocked them out, or another team, whatever. He's like, how can that be good for the NBA?
So he wants more reward for the regular season.
He doesn't like the seeding. He doesn't like the whole playoff format of the NBA. He doesn't like the 10 teams because you can get this one guy who's like a team like we saw years past when there's arguments in the NFL, like if you win your division but you're 7-9, you should not go into the playoffs. There should be like another team in another division who has a better record should go in, right? It's much like that kind of argument. Much like how New Orleans lost to the Seattle Seahawks that one year when Marshawn Lynch went total ham on them for 70 yards, ended up beating the New Orleans Saints, who were favored to win the Super Bowl that year, or one of the teams to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I hate to tell Chris Paul, I mean, you're not going to convince. You're not taking away playoff games.
Yeah,
those are the moneymakers.
Yeah.
Those are when we all get hyped up about business and a little bit of selling. The NBA does too. Yep. They're not going to give up those playoff. If anything, there's going to be more.
Yeah,
don't
complain about who you play against. You play who you play against.
I mean, that's what the average person would say to Chris Paul too. Like, just win, baby, just win.
But isn't that? I mean, that's common sense, right?
It is.
You just got to exercise it. Like I'm just like.
I think Chris Paul is quite simply doing the political. I'm playing my card. If he was on the other end of it, if he was on a team that's constantly in the play-in, he'd be like, the play-in's good for the NBA. But he's not. So he's advocating his side. Get us a bye week or something. Like, I don't know, something better for them.
When you look at playoff formats, you look at the NBA, they changed theirs. There's been a lot of backlash about that. You look at college football.
They're ever
a lot of backlash, right? Not a lot of people are happy about
that.
Ton of
backlash.
But when it comes to the NFL, when they went to and added a 7th team to the playoffs, was there any backlash? Oh, hell no. We wanted the NFL. We want all the NFL.
Yeah.
I
think it's just American arrogance 101 right there.
It just depends on what professional sport you're talking about. I think even baseball, they changed their playoff format. And you know what's crazy is that during the NBA finals, there was a couple USFL games during the NBA playoffs.
And they were matching head-to-head.
No, USFL actually supplanted some of the NBA playoff games.
That's why football's king, and that's why Fox said, give us more of the USFL. That's why it worked. That's when people are starting to recognize, hey, we're about to go to a break, but before we do, let me get you a Klein Preston Law Braves update. Just off the top, the Atlanta Braves are WNSR's sponsor all season long. Go check out KleinPrestonLaw.com for all your law needs. They are sponsoring the Braves for the station. And just to give a quick update, the Braves are 2-0 in the series over the Cardinals.
Yep, it was 7-1 last night.
I mean, Braves are real. We see it. Braves are real. They're playing 6 o'clock.
No, they play at 6:20. His first pitch, 6:05 is pregame. You can hear it live here on WNSR.
Thank you, Ray.
Yep.
Great work. 48-34 record right now. 26-17 at home. That's your Klein Preston Braves.
Nice record to go a week before the All-Star game starts being played. I think they're taking a couple days off next week before. I think the 18th or 17th is the start of the All-Star game.
The ever forward March to October, where baseball is a little bit more watchable for yours truly, Bruno Reagan.
Exactly.
Coming to you after the break.
Good afternoon. Of course, there's several minor wrecks around town, but right now we see this heavy traffic trying to get up into Goodlettsville on 65 northbound. They were moving some type of problem a few minutes ago, 24 east at Shelby. That just aggravated that traffic. It's still heavy out here on the South Loop, 40 east at Broadway, Demonbreun, 65 still stacked up at times up by Metro Center. Watch your speed, I-40 out through Dixon County. They're cracking down out there again this afternoon. Hey, Ripley's has a great summer camp experience for the kids. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium on the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
For almost a decade, the Omni Nashville has taken care of your comfort. Now let them take care of your well-being. For select Friday evenings, the Omni Nashville invites you to experience a 4-hour wellness retreat. Relax, rejuvenate, and reset with a package that is designed for you by trained spa professionals, followed by a relaxing evening in your own private retreat. The Omni Weekend Wellness Package includes an outdoor yoga session for any level, a 60-minute mindfulness coaching session from our trained professionals, a sunset meal, a group share, and the finest accommodations in Music City. There are 3 available sessions, so space is limited. Get locked into wellness by logging on to the Omni Nashville website and register for one of the 3 wellness weekends. Life has a way of keeping you off balance. Let the Omni Nashville Wellness Weekend get you centered. Relax, rejuvenate, and reset with the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-297-0674 to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-297-0674. That's 800-297-0674. Again, 800-297-0674.
Summer is in full swing and the deals are heating up at Lowe's. Find 4th of July savings to keep your yard looking healthy the whole season. Protect your soil from the heat with a bag of Scott's Naturescapes mulch, now 3 for $10. And celebrate the 4th with our select 2.5-quart red, white, and blue annuals, 2 for $10. Find more savings this 4th of July at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. Valid 6/23 through 7/6 while supplies last. Annuals offer in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
5-state forecast.
Your exclusive national sports radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. We have an excessive heat warning in effect. This afternoon, sunny and hot with a straight thunderstorm, the high 102, heat index 114. Isolated thunderstorm this evening, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, low 78. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Renaud.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Welcome back. Afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Ray Dosky, Zach Williams on vacation. Coming to you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. If you want to call in, 615-844-5600. Brady Griner, the current, I guess, one of the top sports stories of the summer. Brady Griner goes to Russia. I believe she has a vape on her, Ray, if I'm not mistaken. Gets arrested, has been in detention since. And there's been talks between, there's been outreach, expectation from the White House to do something about it. Now we're getting reports that Biden has talked to Britney's wife via phone. Correct?
That is correct.
So now they're starting to have a discourse.
Sherelle Griner.
Sherelle Griner, that's her wife's name. Now, Brittany Griner's coach Vanessa, excuse me, what was it again, Ray?
Vanessa Nygaard.
Vanessa Nygaard. I kept messing up that last name. Vanessa Nygaard. I have to make sure I do respect by her.
Mm-hmm.
She came out and had some criticism for, maybe the criticism wasn't really directed anywhere, but it was criticism, I guess, on the gender side of things, where she said if this was LeBron James, he would have already been released. And I have one thing to say about that. If it was LeBron James over there in jail in Russia, I'm arming up myself and going and breaking him out. I mean, that's just, well, I don't know if that sounds terrible, Ray. Maybe it does. Maybe that makes me heartless. But I also see her point. Hey, and you know what? Maybe they're just playing their card. That's exactly what they have to do to bring recognition to the story. And hey, now we're getting some discourse with Biden. I don't know how serious these things are. I'm not one for expecting people who get in trouble internationally to just get a out of jail free card because they're rich, they're wealthy, they're influential, right? Is the vape thing probably overdone? Absolutely. Maybe this is a political thing that, they just want to get an influential American. It could be a lot of different things. But I mean, this was the same thing with who I believe maybe it was A$AP Rocky. Someone got in trouble in Switzerland, and I remember Trump had to get him out, and he was like, we're going to shut. Yep. There's always expectation for celebrities to basically get off the hook. And while I do want to see Brittany Griner back safe, and while I imagine Russian prison isn't a very delightful place, and for something so minuscule and stupid, in my opinion, I see the side where she might not get a lot of empathy from her fellow American. I can see why that's happening. I can't reciprocate it. I hope she gets back home and safe, if they can work out a deal or whatever. But now you want to get political. The thing, America and Russia don't really have the best relationship right now. Sadly, geopolitical, stories are involved in this sports story. We might not see her play in the NBA. I mean, what are they talking, Ray? Like over 10 years?
That's what they're saying right now. Yep.
Over 10 years, she could be imprisoned in Russia?
If convicted, yes, you could see 10 years.
Now, I will say this. Maybe other WNBA players are going to see this and they're thinking, international? No, I'm staying in America. This could put a dent on things in terms of, because that's how WNBA players, especially a lot of the more famous ones, make their money. They play in the WNBA. And then, basketball, especially women's basketball, is a little more popular internationally than it is America. So they go out to these different places, China, Russia, places that might not have, if you visit them when you go to apply for passports and such, you're going to get a warning from the United States. They're going to say, be careful of these places. This is why,
They're literally, they're an icon there. They're a celebrity when they go to Europe. Men as well as women's in terms of when they play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been known that way. I believe she's been there for about 4 months now. She's been there for a little while. I know the trial just kicked off on July 1st, but it looks like from what Biden said, they're trying to do everything they can to bring him back home. And a lot of NBA players have actually been outspoken about what's going on there.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's the NBA player, which mad respect for the NBA players.
Yeah.
They typically show up in support for the women.
Like
so
Victor Oladipo, guard for the Miami Heat, he says it's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous that I'm still seeing posts about bringing Brittany Griner home, which is true. This should have been done with already.
If you're going to bring all these other male celebrities, just go ahead and bring back Brittany. Make it happen. I know on a president's to-do list, it's one of those things that are so far down. But hey, presidents have like hundreds of employees. This is probably something that won't cost that much to get
Jason
done.
Whitlock actually, I think, agrees with you. He said Brittany Griner, this is off his tweet. He says Brittany Griner is a political prisoner. It's what we expect from Russia.
You scared me when you said Jason Whitlock agrees with you. I was
that's what you're saying. It's more like a pool, right?
Well, that was a tame Jason Whitlock tweet. You scared me there for a second.
Yeah, I know, because we don't know where we can go with Jason Whitlock, right?
Oh my God,
he can go so many different ways.
You're about to make me change my opinion.
No.
He's right though. She's a political prisoner. I mean, do not. And this is a lesson for all other This is a lesson for all other Americans. We are internationally, a lot of places outside of Western Europe, we are targets.
Mm-hmm.
We are targets. You could be in a nice place in maybe a more dangerous zone. You're a target. This is even as close as Mexico. You're a target in some places in Mexico. Being an American, you're a target. Don't give them any reason. If you do have to travel, I feel for Brittany Griner. And who knows, things with Russia. It could have been something that's planted. It's obvious she could be being over-persecuted because she's American. Could be a million things. I mean, absolute horror story for Brittany Griner. Hopefully she gets out. Hopefully we get to hear, the important thing is if Brittany gets out, we need to hear everything that happened, how she was treated.
Oh, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
We definitely want the happy ending, and we know that happy ending is going to come with a lot of stories right afterwards. A book, maybe a movie, who knows? There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be coming her way. So once this is all said and done, there's going to be a lot of attention. There's probably going to be more attention going to come to Brittany as opposed to what it is right now.
Yep. I'll tell you what's not getting a lot of attention is in the world of celebrity boxing, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. We have Tommy Fury. As we reported on the show yesterday, Tommy Fury, some visa issues didn't get worked out. So now that whole card's going to be scrapped. And off of that, we were going to see Peterson and Le'Veon Bell on that card, right? Or no, never mind. That's on McBroom's YouTube fight. So this is one that's totally different, a Jake Paul fight. This Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight, this is the second time that it's been canceled. I mean, Tommy Fury is going on Twitter and is essentially, he's using his public platform now. They're not even talking between teams. He's begging Jake Paul to reschedule or so this makes me think that maybe this is a true visa issue and this was nothing uncontrollable. But they're going to move on with Jake Paul's boxing card. I think they're teasing a new opponent. You might see someone like an Anderson Silva. I truly believe that. One of the UFC Hall of Famer GOATs, someone that can strike, not a Ben Askren. And I think Jake Paul is ready for that challenge. So if you're interested in any of this celebrity boxing stuff, I'm not too interested in it all, right? And these kind of pullouts are why I'm not. It's not like pullouts don't happen in MMA boxing, real professional boxing, world championship level boxing. But when it happens for this Jake Paul stuff, it looks extremely unprofessional. But now that we might see a true high-level striker competing, that's when I get interested. And Jake Paul, the reason I talk so much about him is because he does right by the fighters. The UFC, even at the top level, when they're champions, you're not going to get a lot of money. Jake Paul's the reasons people are getting paid. I mean, Ben Askren got $500K to just be in a ring for a minute. Tyron Woodley, twice. Anderson Silva is a guy who deserves to be paid. This was a guy who was going out there and putting his body on the line, getting absolutely knocked out for no reason for the last 4, 5, 6 fights in his career, absolutely kind of dunking his legacy because it's all he knows. This might be the chance that he gets to earn his fair share, all because of YouTuber. And for that, I'll respect it, I'll report it, and I might even watch it. Ray, do you have any idea? Would it be more interesting to see a real fighter like Anderson Silva? Would that, because I know this stuff absolutely disgusts you. Would that get you at all interested to see a legend like Anderson Silva step in and fight this YouTuber?
If they're going to get paid, so be it. I feel like that's what it is now.
So you
it's
can
just
respect it.
Yeah, it's just a money grab.
I've let that. You're just probably not.
I have let that anger go. I let it go the last 2 times. Looking at it on the other side, I felt like you were trying to take something away from the sport, but now that I just see that's just a complete money grab, so be it. You made so many points on here on the show, you as well as Zach, about talking about how UFC fighters don't get paid much. Of course, I know that space as well, being training in for 10 plus years. I hear the stories of
the money is the thing that breaks these gyms up the most.
Exactly. So you know what? If you have an opportunity to go grab it, by all means, do it. I've let that anger go months ago. So yeah, it doesn't matter as long as it entertains me. Whatever. I'm not going to pay for it. I'll go to a friend's house and watch it, but I'm definitely not going to pay for it. Yep. But like I talked about yesterday, I would watch a possible a double main event with Mayweather going against a Conor McGregor, and then the undercard.
Two real fighters. One's fighting out of his quote unquote.
I know that people will watch that.
Is Mayweather's legacy starting to trend towards not a real fighter? No.
Well, I mean, he's
fought the Logan Paul, and
he's a promoter now.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty much where he puts all of his money. Who's the guy that's part of the Mayweather camp? Davis.
Yes. Tank.
Yeah, that's pretty much the guy he's been trying to promote for the last 7 years, and he is not disappointed.
I'll tell you who has disappointed is Canelo teaming up with Ryan Garcia. You kept up with Ryan Garcia at all?
Yeah.
Dude has he had a good fight recently, but it's kind of Canelo expected more from his career at this point, so that's another young
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, boxing is absolutely. I mean,
he shows all those little highlight videos of his speed and stuff like that, and he had beef back in the day with Jake Paul.
Yeah,
where did that go? What happened there? And then
Ryan Garcia has everything to lose in a fight like that.
He does.
Anyways, guys, another fun day at this nice, beautiful Wednesday. He's Ray Dosky. I'm Bruno Reagan. If anyone hasn't told you I love you, not Zach, me, Bruno. Catch you tomorrow, afternoon stretch.